Hello, you, the one listening in the quiet of the night, or maybe at the soft edge of morning, when the world still feels half asleep. If you happen to find these words, it's not by accident. Sometimes, the universe whispers in ways so gentle, so precise, right at the moment we need to hear it most. Maybe you've been tired, walking through long days, wondering why everything keeps repeating, why life moves so slowly, as if testing your patience. But today feels different. Something is shifting. A new energy is unfolding, and it's calling your name. Take a slow breath. Place your hand over your heart. You'll feel something faint but real, like a quiet knock from destiny, reminding you that a door is opening, and once you walk through it, nothing will ever be the same. So don't leave just yet. Stay here. Stay still and listen, because what's waiting beyond this moment is more than just a story. It's a message from life itself, meant only for you on this very special day. A morning that seemed ordinary, yet the air felt different. Something subtle was trembling in the heart of the world, a quiet rhythm, delicate, like the breath of destiny drawing near. No one announced it, no signs appeared, and yet your soul, Aries, suddenly awakened, every sense sharpened, as if the universe were calling your name in a language beyond words. How long has it been since you truly stopped, since you simply existed without rushing? In the noise, the roles, the endless doing, have you forgotten what it feels like to be alive? Today, the universe wants you to pause, just for a moment, to listen to the beating of your own heart. It's still there, patient, gentle, steady, reminding you there is something unfinished, a road not yet walked, a meeting that hasn't happened. They say some days pass without meaning, and some days turn your whole life in a new direction. Today is one of those days. Deep within, unseen layers of energy, something begins to move for you. An invisible door cracks open, and through it, light begins to slip into the darker corners of your soul, the ones where you've hidden fear, disappointment, and the dreams you were once afraid to dream again. You've endured, you've waited, you've held your silence while everything around you seemed to fall apart, and in that silence, you may have felt forgotten. But the truth is, the universe was preparing you. Because light cannot arrive in the middle of a storm, it only appears when you are still enough to see it. Now, you stand at the edge of a new chapter. Not a loud one, not a chapter with fireworks or applause, but one of awareness and awakening. It feels like reaching the top of a quiet hill, where the wind carries a new scent and the first light of dawn brushes softly across your skin. Something gentle stirs within you, a quiet knowing that the world is about to send you something important. And, maybe, in that very moment, somewhere among the countless souls, another pair of eyes is searching for you. Maybe they're far away, or maybe they're closer than you think. But that thin, unseen thread between two souls has begun to vibrate. You don't yet know who they are, but your heart recognizes them long before your mind does. Aries. Destiny doesn't always arrive in blinding light. Sometimes it shows up in the most ordinary of ways. A glance, a chance meeting, a feeling you can't explain. Tiny moments that whisper, not shout, it's time. Between one breath and the next, when the world suddenly slows, you'll feel time stretching, space softening. And in that stillness, something new brushing against your spirit. That's the first sign. Not dramatic, not dazzling. Just a single spark, enough to make you open your eyes and see the world differently and realize someone is already stepping toward you. And then, as if invisible threads had finished weaving their pattern, fate completes its curve. Two paths cross, not planned, not predicted, but written long ago in the quiet blueprints of the universe. Today, you're not just hearing a story. You're walking through a doorway of your own, a place where love, awareness, and the soul itself intertwine. And when the breath of time pauses, just for an instant, What's about to unfold is no longer a prophecy. It's the real meeting of two souls finally recognizing each other. Between the unseen layers of existence, those spaces the human eye can't quite touch, two souls sometimes find each other, not by human design, but through the quiet rhythm of the universe itself. And in that moment, Aries, you'll feel something strange. Time slowing down, sound fading into the distance, until all that remains are two gazes meeting softly, deeply like the ocean recognizing its own reflection. This person enters your life without noise, fireworks, or grand promises. They appear as simply as a breath, yet in their eyes, you see yourself reflected back. The pieces you once lost, the pain you thought you'd buried, and even the dreams you tucked away so deep they forgot how to breathe. It's hard to tell who recognizes whom first, because perhaps both of you have known each other for a long time, just not in this lifetime. They haven't come to fill your emptiness, but to awaken what has been sleeping inside you. Maybe it's trust. Maybe it's the ability to love without conditions. Or maybe it's the simple belief that life can still be gentle. This connection doesn't ignite like fire. It spreads like morning warmth. It makes you stop trying to explain, stop trying to define, just to feel. Everything unfolds naturally. A short conversation, a quiet smile, a question that seems meaningless but somehow opens an entire field of memory. And somehow, your soul remembers this person. It doesn't feel like meeting someone new, it feels like coming home. So tender, so familiar, it brings tears to your eyes without knowing why. They're not perfect. They carry their past, their scars, their own path back to themselves. But it's that very imperfection that makes everything more real, more human, more beautiful. When they speak, you don't listen with your ears, you listen with your heart. Every word seems to touch an old corner of your soul you thought would stay barren forever. Aries, this meeting is not coincidence. It's the crossing of two long journeys, two people who've known loss, who've learned how to stand again after falling. And now, when these souls meet, they understand. Every wound, every heartbreak was a prelude to this moment, the moment of recognition, the rebirth of faith. In their gaze, you see yourself illuminated. In yours, they find the peace they've been searching for. It's an unspoken exchange, deep and still like two rivers, finally meeting the sea. No one tries to own, no one needs to prove, there is only presence. This love doesn't ask you to chase or to sacrifice. It only asks you to be honest, gentle, whole, just as you are. It arrives as a gift from life itself, not to test you, but to restore the trust that once broke. And while the world keeps spinning, the two of you stand quietly in that sacred stillness where everything becomes clear, where fear melts in the warmth of understanding. You realize destiny isn't always written in grand events, but in the single glance that silences you, in the feeling of safety that asks for no explanation. In that moment, you don't think about the past or the future. You just know you're exactly where you're meant to be, with the person the universe intended for you to meet. And in the hush of that recognition, your soul whispers, "Finally, we've found each other again." Then, time begins to move once more, but nothing is the same. Something inside you has awakened deep, bright, and true. And as that light expands, it begins to guide you forward, softly, like the wind, leading you into another chapter, one where love is no longer just an emotion, but a mirror reflecting the strength and the faith you thought you had lost forever. They come to you not in their strongest moment, but in that fragile space between wounds that haven't yet healed. They have loved, they have lost, they've built walls thick enough to keep the world out. Inside those walls, trust has been stolen, and love feels like a luxury they can no longer afford. They smile, but the shadow of unspoken things lingers behind that smile. They live, but it feels more like surviving, just getting through one day at a time. And then, in the stillness of those ordinary days, your light appears. Not a blinding light that startles, but a gentle glow soft enough to touch the corners they've tried so hard to hide. You didn't come to rescue them or to change them. You simply showed up quietly, sincerely, without judgment. And somehow, your calm presence teaches them to breathe again, to believe that maybe, just maybe, the world can be kind once more. They watch you how you listen without interrupting, how you let the truth unfold in its own time. And they realize love isn't about promises, it's about safety. For the first time in a long while, they begin to speak not to be pitied, but because they finally feel seen. With every word they share, a piece of their fear begins to dissolve. And strangely, as you listen, something inside you begins to heal too, because somewhere in your past, you were them. You too closed your heart after a loss, told yourself you were fine, that you didn't need anyone. But standing here with this person, you recognize your own reflection in their pain. You see your old wounds being held not with words, but with understanding, with the quiet knowing that someone finally gets it. The two of you are like broken mirrors reflecting and mending each other at the same time. In the light of honesty and compassion, the sharp edges of the past start to soften. No one needs to be the strong one anymore. No one needs to hide their fear. Love here isn't about possession, it's about healing. It's a slow walk where both of you learn to see each other through the eyes of kindness. Aries, maybe you don't realize it yet, but your gentleness is the miracle in this story. In a world that rushes to prove itself right, you choose to stay still, to listen, to be patient, to remain. That quiet presence of yours, simple yet profound, is teaching them how to trust again and teaching you how to love without fear of loss. Because true love doesn't erase the past, it makes peace with it. You can't turn back time, but you can make it lighter by looking at it through the lens of compassion. Each time you forgive others and yourself, old wounds close just a little more. Perhaps this is what both of you came here to learn, that no one needs to be perfect to deserve love. Sometimes it's the wounded souls who understand the depth of tenderness best. And when two wounds meet, if both are honest, they can heal together. Between you two, there is more than emotion, there's an unspoken understanding, the kind that makes the rest of the world fade away. Only breath remains, and quiet eyes meeting in peace. In the silence of the night, when old memories return, you no longer feel afraid. Because somewhere out there, you know there's another heart trying to release, to trust, to open again. And one morning, you'll realize you no longer look at them with pity, but with gratitude. Because through them, you've learned to love without hiding your scars. Through them, you've learned that love doesn't make us weaker, it brings us home to ourselves. In that gentle awareness, something bright awakens inside you, a light not of logic, but of compassion. It spreads through your whole being, making you feel lighter, warmer, reminding you that everything that's ever happened had a purpose. And in that moment, Aries, you understand when we dare to open our hearts, even just a little, the entire universe begins to move, ready to welcome us into its arms. With each slow breath, your light expands outward, touching the world around you. And maybe, just maybe, right at that moment, another door begins to open. The one that leads to motion, to change, to everything that was once delayed finally finding its way back to you, carrying blessings you never saw coming. Your material world begins to shift gently, almost imperceptibly. Everything moves quietly, like a river under ice slowly melting, ready to flow again after a long winter. Things you thought were closed, opportunities you believed were lost, begin to turn back toward you, not by chance, not by luck, but by the precision of a universal rhythm. When the heart opens, the flow of life opens with it. You may have felt you'd done everything right, and yet results came slowly. Doors stayed shut. Doubt crept in about your worth, about the meaning of your efforts, but the universe was never silent. It was waiting for you to realign your energy. Now, as you stop forcing, As you learn to trust and release, the current returns. Work becomes clearer. Relationships that once felt distant start to feel purposeful. Ideas you'd abandoned come alive again with new vitality. Money, work, stability, they all move with the rhythm of your breath. Because money, in truth, is energy. And energy only flows when it's no longer trapped in fear or scarcity. When you love, when you trust, when you allow life to be beautiful, abundance begins to heal itself. It's no longer about chasing, it's about attracting. Sometimes you'll be surprised by how easily small things begin to fall into place. A long overdue payment finds its way back to you. An unexpected job offer arrives, or someone from your past returns with goodwill in their eyes. These aren't coincidences, they're responses from the universe. Every ounce of effort, every sleepless night, every act of perseverance was recorded on a level you couldn't see. And when that energy is full, the physical world simply reflects it. Aries, this is the moment to believe more than ever that true prosperity doesn't come from fear, but from gratitude. Each morning, when sunlight slips through your curtains, remember that light is a blessing whispered over your journey. Even the material world, though it may seem cold and practical, is singing its own melody, a melody only the still-hearted can hear. Everything you do with sincerity carries creative, healing energy. If you paint, if you write, if you care for someone, or even if you simply smile from the heart, you're already creating movement. True wealth isn't the number in your bank account, but the quiet knowing that your presence is softening the world around you. And when you give from that place, life responds by opening new doors, sometimes as work, sometimes as opportunity, and sometimes as pure peace beyond explanation. This isn't just financial recovery, it's an understanding that everything is connected. Your emotions, your beliefs, your actions, they're all one current. Shift one, and the entire flow changes direction. And the most beautiful part? When you choose the light chooses you. You're in a moment where even the smallest decision can send ripples outward. Trust your intuition. Don't fear beginning again. Every time you trust, the universe sends a quiet sign you're on the right path. A message out of nowhere, a kind word at the perfect time, a door closing only to open another. Soon you'll realize true stability doesn't come from holding tight, but from learning how to let go. When you stop fearing loss, you stop being bound by it. When you stop panicking at change, that calm inside you becomes the foundation of real abundance. And in the stillness of some evening, when you look back at your path, you'll see everything has aligned perfectly. Love opened your heart, and through that heart, life unfolded in ways you once thought impossible. This movement isn't just happening in your work or your finances. It's happening inside your very life force. A new light is spreading through you, bringing fullness not only to your wallet, but to your soul. And within that soft glow, something deeper begins to stir, a quiet signal that the journey isn't over yet. Because sometimes, once the outer world has changed, the heart begins to speak again, guiding you toward a deeper place where love is no longer just a story between two people, but the awakening of an entire soul. Your light has begun to spread. It's no longer just a feeling in your heart or a quiet thought in the dark. It's something others can see, something they can feel. People around you are starting to notice. Some smile, genuinely drawn in, inspired by the calm transformation in you. But there are other looks too, quieter, colder, as if not everyone is ready to accept that you've stepped out of your own shadow. Success and love, two of the brightest forms of light, are both blooming within you now. But light, Aries, doesn't only bring warmth. It also reveals what's hidden in you and in others. As you rise, there will be voices that try to pull you back, not always out of cruelty, but sometimes because they aren't ready to witness someone doing what they still fear to do. You've heard the saying, the higher you climb, the stronger the wind blows, but few ever tell you the brighter you shine, the more the darkness wants to reach you. Remember this: jealousy isn't a curse, it's confirmation you're on the right path. No one envies what's ordinary. People only react when they sense in you something they secretly long for: courage, faith, the freedom to live as your truest self. Along this journey, you'll learn one of life's simplest, hardest truths: not everyone will clap for your light. And that's okay. You weren't born to please the crowd. You were born to become yourself. When others criticize, let it remind you you're moving forward. When they doubt you, take it as a cue to trust your own intuition even more. The real challenge of light isn't to fight the world, but to keep your heart kind even when it's misunderstood, to keep your glow pure even when tested. The world needs light, but not everyone is used to living in it. So you must be the one who shines without blinding, walks without trampling, and speaks through calm more than reaction. Remember, true light doesn't argue. The sun never debates with the night. It simply rises on time, every single day. And that's enough. So keep rising, Aries. Keep showing up. Keep doing what you were born to do. Let your consistency, your honesty, and your kindness be the only answer you ever give. On hard days, when you feel surrounded by judgment, pause, take a deep breath. Know that all that noise is simply the echo of transformation. Don't let it harden your heart. Your rare gift is the ability to stay warm in a cold world. The universe has never lost a soul who's walking in the right direction. What's meant for you, love, work, opportunity moves in your orbit. No word, no glance, no heavy energy can block that flow, because it isn't powered by people. It's written in the language of destiny. And once you understand that, life feels lighter. You stop explaining. You stop defending. You simply keep being kind. Keep working with a clear heart. Keep loving without fear. Everything else aligns. Everything false falls away. And what remains is the original light you were born to bring into this world. The moment you intim it, release the need to be validated, your energy becomes free. Like a lake after the wind has passed when the water stills, it mirrors the sky, deep, clear, at peace. That's when you see every bit of envy, every trial, was never about you at all. It was the reflection of others' fears, not your own. And when you begin to see through compassion instead of defense, another door opens. The door to trust's return, to real love. A space where small gestures, quiet acts, speak louder than promises. There, the noise of the world fades away, and all that's left is the soft rhythm of a peaceful heart, guiding you gently toward a gentler light, truer, closer than ever before. Their silence no longer feels like an empty space that makes you uneasy. It's become a warm room instead, one where you can feel their presence without needing a single word. People who've been deeply hurt rarely speak much. They don't rush into promises. They don't parade their feelings. They love in quiet ways by returning gently, by showing up at the right time, by holding your gaze 1 second longer than usual. And you, Aries, with your natural sensitivity, you notice it. This love isn't loud. It doesn't leave you anxious or guessing what comes next. It brings a peace that feels almost sacred, a calm not found in silence, but in the knowing that you no longer need to try so hard. They don't love you through words or vows, but through presence. Every time you look up, they're there. Every time you grow tired, they somehow know when to stay quiet, so the weight doesn't grow heavier. Sometimes, just a soft touch is enough for your heart to understand. You've been chosen. This isn't the kind of love born from fleeting passion, but from two souls who have already weathered enough storms to know that the rarest thing in this world is truth. You no longer need someone to fill the emptiness. You need someone to walk beside you in the light. And so do they. Both of you have learned that love isn't about holding on, it's about facing the same direction, even when no words are spoken. On quiet afternoons, when sunlight leans through the window, you catch yourself smiling without knowing why. Maybe it's because of a short message, or the way they remembered something small, something you didn't expect them to. This kind of love doesn't ask to be shown off. It only asks to be kept, tended, allowed to grow like roots, quietly deepening under the soil. And slowly, you begin to understand love isn't about finding someone who makes you happy. It's about meeting someone who makes you peaceful. Peace is not the absence of sound, but the presence of trust. It's when you can sit in silence together and still feel connected. It's when you know, no matter what tomorrow brings, this person will still be a steady rhythm in your life. They still have their fears, but this love teaches you something vital. You don't have to fix anyone. You just have to love honestly, and the wounds begin to soften on their own. When you stop forcing, stop expecting, you become the safe place where healing happens naturally. And in that quiet, trust is reborn. Not loud, not dramatic, just a new breath shared between two souls. Aries, do you feel it? Everything that once hurt now feels gentler. The way you respond to life has changed. You no longer want to control or overthink. You choose to feel. You choose to trust. You choose to let your heart lead. And when the heart leads, it never loses its way. Now you understand that real love doesn't teach you how to possess. It teaches you how to open. When you trust, you allow others the freedom to be themselves. When you stop fearing loss, you create the space for love to grow. Both of you are learning the same lesson, that love isn't a hiding place, but a journey into the light together. In the soft breath of evening, you can feel something shifting within. A tender light spreads from your chest to your face, the light of faith returning. You no longer guard, no longer question. You simply feel your heart expand, warm, still, alive. That's the sign of a heart that's truly come back to life. And deep within your soul, you know everything is happening exactly on time. This love didn't come too early or too late. It came when you were mature enough to see the worth of sincerity and kind enough to protect what is good. When two souls are ready, the universe never lets them lose each other. And in that stillness, something else begins to move quietly, subtly, like a river after the rain. Everything in your life begins to flow again. Faith expanding from love into every corner of your being, your work, your dreams, your purpose. You start to see meaning behind every season you've lived through, as if the universe is rearranging it all, guiding you toward a deeper awakening of who you really are. When love has grown steady and trust has returned, another quiet miracle begins to unfold, not only within your heart but throughout your entire field of being. Each morning, you wake feeling more alive, clearer in mind, sharper in intuition. The world itself seems to move to a new rhythm, and this time, you're not resisting it. You're flowing with it, merging with it, becoming part of its pulse. The years of solitude that once drained you now start to make sense. You understand that every delay, every pause, every closed door was time given to help you look inward. If love had arrived sooner, if opportunity had come before you were ready, you might not have been able to hold it. But now heart, mind, and soul are in harmony, and everything begins to bloom together. Love, work, abundance, and creativity. You can feel a special kind of strength moving through you. It's not loud or showy, but it lives in every choice you make. Every small action carries awareness. You no longer work just to reach a goal. You work to send good energy into what you create. Every meeting, every idea, every project becomes a bridge, connecting you to something greater than yourself. Money begins to flow again, but this time, it's not because you chased it, it's because you've become someone who can receive it. You understand the value of giving. You're no longer afraid of loss. Money is simply the physical reflection of energy, and your energy now is clear, free from fear, free from comparison. That lightness opens life itself, making it fluid, flexible, and full of possibility. And within all these shifts, you begin to see your purpose take shape. It's not distant or grand. It's simple. You were born to heal, to bring light to places that have known darkness. Through words, through your work, or simply through your presence, you're helping the world become softer. When you understand that, every decision, every step becomes crystal clear. Some mornings you just sit quietly, sip your coffee, and feel deeply this is right. The feeling isn't loud but deep and true, like a small flame that warms an entire room. You realize you no longer need something huge to feel whole. Fulfillment rises from within. Aries, this is the rebirth you've been waiting for. Love is no longer the destination, it's the energy that sustains you. Work is no longer an obligation, it's the expression of your soul's creativity. Money is no longer a weight, it flows naturally because you are living in alignment with who you truly are. Everything that once felt separate is now becoming one. The self and the soul, action and meaning, giving and receiving all melting together into a perfect circle. Every breath you take holds the energy of rebirth. Every step you walk leaves a trace of light. You are no longer who you were. Your eyes shine differently. Your voice carries a new calm. There's a quiet depth in the way you listen, a gentle clarity in the way you see the world. Others may not notice it at first, but those who look closely will sense it. You have changed. Not because of something dramatic, but because you've learned how to live truthfully with honesty, humility, and gratitude. And when you move through life with that energy, doors keep opening one by one, leading you deeper into a path of awakening. A path not just about love or success, but about the evolution of your soul, where you bow gently before life, not from weakness, but from the understanding that everything you've received has been a gift. In the wind of late afternoon, as the light softens across your skin, you feel something extraordinary: gratitude. And from that place, a peaceful stillness begins to guide you forward, naturally, tenderly, toward another sacred space where everything closes in quiet harmony and your heart whispers its final thank you to life itself. This evening feels softer than the rest. The last light of the sun lays a golden warmth across the sky, as if the heavens themselves are bowing gently to you. In that moment, every sound around you seems to fade until there's only your breath and the faint whisper of wind brushing against your cheek. A quiet fills the air, not emptiness, but the calm of a soul that has finally reached the end of a long journey. Aries, you've walked through days of doubt, endured trials that once felt impossible to overcome. But now, standing here in this twilight of the spirit, you can feel it. You've become someone new. No longer rushing, no longer resisting, you listen to life with an open heart, as if every small sound were a message from the universe itself. And perhaps it is. Perhaps the universe is whispering this to you, that every loss, every pause, every silence had purpose. Each time you thought you'd been left behind, you were simply being guided back to yourself. Nothing was wasted. No moment was meaningless. Everything has been woven into the tapestry, beneath your feet, where every thread has its reason, and every pain has turned to light. Today is not just another day on the calendar. It's a sacred mark upon your soul, the quiet moment of return. You have been chosen not to carry the world, but to live truthfully. Not to be perfect, but to be fully present. Life doesn't need you to prove anything anymore. It only asks that you trust in its mysterious design. Love is coming, not loud, not dazzling, but peaceful, grounded, gentle. It won't teach you passion through chaos, but tenderness through stillness. It won't make you lose yourself. It will help you find yourself more deeply. This is love that doesn't make your heart race in fear, but lets it rest in faith. It is the quiet return of trust in people, in life, and in yourself. Now, everything you've ever waited for is already on its way, not in haste, but in certainty. The universe never forgot you. It was simply waiting for you to become still enough to listen, open enough to receive, and kind enough to understand that everything you've lost is returning in gentler, brighter form. So allow yourself to pause, to breathe, to feel gratitude for the journey that brought you here, There's nothing left to resist, nothing left to hold. Let your shoulders drop. Let the wind touch your skin. Let the light move through your heart. In this moment, you are no longer the seeker. You have become what you were searching for: light, peace, and love. And when you close your eyes, listen closely. The world is thanking you for your patience, for your kindness, for choosing to love even after pain. The universe owes no one anything, but it always returns what is earned, and Aries, that moment is now. Night will come, but it will no longer be dark. It will be a night of rest, of gratitude, of the small light still glowing within your chest even as the world grows quiet. Smile softly, because you know everything is finally finding its place. This life, with all its rises and falls, has never turned its back on you. It's been leading you home all along, gently, patiently, through the only road meant for you.